So here he is saying that all the fuses and the relays of various components of the car, ABS, power window, all are present in this fuse box. But it cannot be opened since it's screwed. The work of the battery, that is the battery that is showing the Exide battery, the work of the battery is to start on the engine. Once it is started, its function is there no more. The alternator will charge the battery and excessive charge will be transferred inside. The excessive voltage or the excessive charge of the battery is transferred inside to the horn, music system, lighting, body lighting, and any other electrical components that is present. The excessive charge is transferred to them. So here is pointing at the ECU, that is electronic control unit, which will operate the entire car, the brain of the car. If there is any fault in it, in this ECU, the car will not start. So that is the ECU, is the brain of the car. It will control all the operations of the car. Okay, that's what he's saying. So here is pointing to the air filter. Now let's see what it talks about. So that is the air filter where the air is sucked out from the inside and it is filtered by the air filter and is given to the engine for mixing with the fuel. So here is pointing what is pointing at to the engine oil. So he is pointing to the who are pointing to the engine oil. There is a dipstick in the engine present in that chamber by which you can check the minimum and maximum level of the engine oil with the help of the dipstick. Now here he is pointing at the brake oil. That is the booster. So there he was pointing to the ABS module. That ABS module is connected to the booster. So what the booster does, it takes air with the help of its vacuum pump, and it does not allow the brake to be hard. Okay. So now if we check the brake of the car, it will be quite hard. But after we start the car, the brake becomes quite easy to be pressed. So that is done by the help of this booster. Keep the brake spongy so that you can brake is activated at once with very little effort. That's the work of the booster here. So that is the coolant reservoir tank he is pointing to. So in this coolant cap, there is both low pressure valve and high pressure valve. Now he's talking about the radiator fan, and inside there is the radiator. So first there is a condenser that is like a wire mesh. He's talking about behind the condenser there will be the radiator in the car. Now he is pointing to the fuel filter that can be used to filter the fuel. It can be both petrol or diesel as long as it's a IC engine car. As per the scheduled service, this fuel filter is changed. You don't have to change it always periodically. As per the scheduled service, it will be changed. So this is the alternator. The work of the alternator is to charge the battery. So there is a water pump that is present beside the alternator, which will circulate the coolant that you've seen before inside the car or inside the engine to keep it cool, to keep the temperature below the within the threshold level. In case the water pump is malfunctioning, there is something defect with the water pump, the engine will start overheating. Okay, so with the help of the belt pulley arrangement, the water pump will be rotated and the coolant will be circulated within the engine to keep the engine cool and the temperature within the threshold limit. So now he's talking about the compressor that is present inside to cool down the AC or to um, start the temperature exchange. So there are mainly four things here: water pump, main pulley, compressor. Okay, these four things are there. They are always operated with the help of the belt arrangement. Okay, they cannot operate independently. Okay, so when the car will start, the main pulley will start rotating, and this main pulley will start rotating, will start giving power to the other four things that we talked about. Okay, they cannot operate independently. They are operated by the main pulley. So the work of the radiator is that it will pull the cool air from the outside, and it will try to bring down the temperature of the coolant. Whenever the coolant gets too much heated, its temperature will get high. So the radiator will try to bring out the cool air from the outside and to cool down the coolant and prevent the engine overheating. So the main work of radiator is to keep the temperature of the coolant that is present in the coolant reservoir tank within the specified limits, and to prevent the and thus preventing the engine overheating. One more time, when the radiator will start working, when you turn on the AC in the car, then the radiator will start working and try to bring the cool air from the outside. Okay. So the radiator will otherwise, when you are not using the AC, the radiator will be controlled, and it will work as per the temperature of the engine and temperature of the coolant. When it becomes high, the radiator will automatically turn on and try to bring down the temperature of the engine and the coolant. Otherwise, when we are turning on the AC, then only the radiator will turn on. So he is talking about the suspension system of the car. The suspension system has four shockers. There are also many other parts that are present: steering rod, main rod. Many other small parts are present connected to the suspension system. So there are two belts basically. One is the compressor belt, and another is the alternator belt. The compressor belt will start working when we turn on the AC of the car. So when the engine is started, the alternator belt will start working and it will try to charge the battery. And when the compressor belt will start, when we are turning on the AC, then only that will start working. Otherwise, it will not work. Otherwise, it will just remain at rest. So this is the MIL for the handbrake. That is the engine check light. What we will talk about. If there's something fault with the electronics of the car, then this display will glow the engine check light. Now is not the problem. So we are just turning on the when we have cranked up the car is in starting mode. Then if this MI lamp or this engine light is glowing, then that is a significant then that is a problem. That will show that there is something fault with the electronics of the car. So after you start the car, the engine MI lamp has vanished. So this is an indication that everything is normal or good with the electronics of the car. So that is the ABS he is talking about. Where his finger is pointing, that is the airbag. Beside that airbag, there is the ABS MIL. So there's the airbag present for the safety of the driver or the passenger in case of a crash or accident. So when my car is generally at rest, we have not cranked up the car, the steering is quite hard. You cannot rotate the steering wheel. Now, but after cranking up the car, the steering wheel become very loose. It can be rotated easily or moved easily. So there was the steering MIL that was indicating. So after cranking up the car, if still that steering symbol is visible, it will be indicated that the power steering is not working and the steering handle will be hard as before. So these are the various indications if there is something problem with the car. If there is no charge in the battery, then after cranking up the car, the battery MIL will automatically glow up. Beside the battery where his finger was pointing, that was the seat belt warning. And the last one that And finally, there here was the this one. This one was the engine brake oil. If it is not of sufficient level or it has depleted, then this will glow up after cranking of the car. So here there is a symbol, there is a person here, and there is an arrow pointing towards his face, which will be denoting that the air will coming towards his face. And here the arrow is pointing towards the two places, towards his face and towards his out. So the air will be coming from both the directions. Here the air will be coming only towards his leg. The air will be coming from the front and towards his to the towards the front and at the leg group. Here you can operate the speed of the fan as per your choice. So the this first symbol is to when your car is cold, inside the car is very cold and you want some air from the outside, some hot air from the outside, then you will use this. You will just push your pointer or your knob to this, and in the second one, when you push your pointer to this, the air will be circulated within the car. So at that time your windows will be closed, should be closed. But in this fast case, you have to open your windows to bring the air from the outside. So this is the blue means cool air will be circulated by the AC, and red means hot air will be circulated. So these things, what he's saying that it will take some time to work properly. It will take some time to heat up the engine. Okay. So there was three levels present. One is heating temperature, one is RPM. So one was engine temperature and another was fuel temperature, and this was the RPM of the car.